Alright, it's time to talk about yet another movie with no shame. Get used to it, it's the 70s. So, yeah, this is Cleopatra, not to be mistaken with, you know, a bunch of other famous movies starring the famous Egyptian queen. So this is yet another X-rated anime movie from Osamu Tezuka. So yeah, it's kind of like a spiritual follow-up to 1001 Nights. So yeah, um, guess I'll get right down to the plot. Well, it starts out in the future, and there's all this sci-fi mumbo jumbo where Earth is trying to defend itself from these alien invaders, and we have like these live actors with anime heads like superimposed over them, and yeah, it looks pretty silly, but I guess that's the idea, because yeah, there's quite a bit of silliness to talk about in this movie. Um, so so yeah, in order, let's see, the aliens apparently have they find out about a so-called Cleopatra plan, and in order to figure out what it is, they go back in time to ancient Egypt when Cleopatra became the queen, and I don't know, somehow that's supposed to decipher the plan. But instead of traveling back in time as themselves, they their souls leave their bodies, and they go back to and enter these other people's bodies from the past. But they don't remember who they are. But they have they have the future people's knowledge. It's confusing and yeah, pretty dumb. But uh, um, so yeah, and then it's basically just a lot of it is just the same old Cleopatra story you've heard plenty of times. I've already covered an Asterix movie that also has Cleopatra and her relationship with Caesar and all that stuff. Um, so um, so yeah, it's pretty much about her rise to power and her relationship with Caesar, and was it yeah, what's his name, Marcus, or yeah, Marcus Antonius, um, and so although one little change to this movie is that there is a lot of sex, yeah, if you've heard my 1001 Nights review, you get the point right now. Um, so yeah, it's basically it's the story of Cleopatra sleeping with a bunch of dudes, and even this ugly lady. Yeah, I don't need to go into details of that. Um, yeah, so it's a movie about her being a floozy, and yeah, just sleeping with everything on legs. Um, and yeah, like the other movie, we got a lot of nudity. Um, there's women running around, showing practically everything, or at least their breasts, like uncensored titties, or I, I probably shouldn't have said that word. Well, you get the point. Yeah, boobies. That's the slightly more PG word. Anyway, and there's a lot of like weird sex scenes that are like shown through like this avant-garde animation, and it's like more weird and uncomfortable than sexy, and yeah, it's more of the same song and dance from 1001 Arabian Nights, or just 1001 Nights. I guess it wasn't quite as bad as that one, but it's still pretty dumb. There's a lot of juvenile humor throughout. All of the characters are either boring, flat, or just plain horrible. Um, you know, uh, yeah, it's just dumb. Um, uh, and is there much else that I really need to say? I mean, Caesar's green in this movie. Yeah, Osamu Tezuka has a weird thing about like making his bad guys like green or blue or turquoise or whatever. Um, yeah. So, and it kind of just treats all the female characters like a piece of meat. All the male characters are treated like, sex crazed idiots who can't keep it in their pants, those old stereotypes that, yeah, I think by now a lot of people are pretty sick of them, and, yeah. But, whatever, I guess if this movie gets you off, then more power to you, right? But yeah, it's just, I guess in terms of like the naked ladies, I guess it's a little more attractive than 1001 Nights was. But yeah, it's, yeah, mostly just sex, more sex, and, a bunch of stupid jokes that Tezuka just throws out, willy nilly, just, you know, like occasionally there might be one or two that, kind of hits. Like, there is a scene in this movie that has like a random Astro Boy cameo, and I don't know, that was a little amusing. But yeah, um, some jackass outside is blaring their car bass out there, and it's getting on my nerves. Um, yeah, I guess it's appropriate for a movie like this. Anyway, uh, yeah, I don't know what much else to say. Oh, great! Now they're revving their engines. Idiot. Um, yeah, it's mostly just the same crap that I talked about in 1001 Nights. I guess it's slightly better, but not by that much. I'd give it a 5 out of 10 maybe. It's not quite as offensively bad as 1001 Nights, but it's still pretty bad. It's not as long from what I recall, so that's good. Um and and yeah, same criteria as the other movie. If you're, If you're a fan of Tezuka, just watch any of his other movies or any of his other works. If you're watching it to get off, then, there's plenty of material out there that could probably do a better job of that. And, yeah, what was the other thing I brought up? Whatever, you get the point. It's just dumb and, juvenile. And yeah, if you want a better animated movie with Cleopatra and Caesar, just watch the second animated Asterix movie. I mean, it's unless you want something more mature than that, this is definitely more adult. But I'm just saying. But yeah, based on my review, just decide for yourself what you want to see, and I guess if there's anything else that I should bring up, then I'll put it in the comments. But yeah, I don't think it's really worth going on about this movie much longer. I've already gone over 10 minutes. I don't think this movie is worth that much of my precious time. It's almost 2 hours. I feel like I lost almost 2 hours anyway, so whatever. So yeah, I guess that's it for now. Mash it and smash it, signing off.